for Hold This L.
Hold this L.
Hold This L.
Welcome to Hold This L with your host, Cappel and Lonnie. What's going on, cuz?
What up, bro? Another day in the life, man.
Yeah, I see you got a different background. You out there traveling, but you're staying dedicated to the show.
Oh, absolutely. Got to do it, man. Got to give the fans what they want.
For sure, I feel you. I feel you. How that hotel life right now?
It's a little rough. I ain't gonna lie. The bed's pretty comfortable, but everything else, it's kind of like living out of a box in so many, so many words. But no, it's not bad at all. Me and the wife enjoying ourselves, man.
Cool. I was wondering how it is, traveling now with COVID and all this quarantining and cleanliness. Like, what's the hotels doing different to make sure that they accommodate everybody's safety?
To be honest with you, not a whole lot. The only thing that I've seen that's actually a little bit of an issue is the breakfast area is closed, so they're not having breakfast right now.
Well, yeah, because
But other than that,
that's that buffet. They were like, nah, we can't have that out there.
yeah, the gathering and stuff. But I mean, it's really other than that. I mean, the pool went out to the pool a couple of days. Everything normal, people outside. I mean, it's pretty much like being normal. Besides that part of it, everything else is pretty much.
That's crazy. Like, I was talking to somebody who went on a trip to Mexico a couple of weeks ago, and they were saying how they they are doing things so differently there. This is Mexico, and they're doing things so differently. Like for the hotels, they're saying that when you come in, they got sanitizer everywhere, they got gloves, they got like they I can't remember everything that she said, but basically she was like every step you took as far as going into a place, whether it was the resort or a different restaurant, they made sure that every area was like super clean and that you had everything you needed. And here we are in America. Here we are in America and we living life like nothing going on, nothing wrong. But it's
Yeah,
all good, man. That's not what we here for. We here for sports. And we here to talk about basketball and baseball and football, but really we on a basketball kick right now.
yes, sir.
Shout out to Adam Silver because they doing it the right way in the bubble. No COVID cases at all. The bubble is working. Like at this point, I don't even think anybody is worrying about whether somebody's gonna get corona in the bubble. I feel like everybody feel like it's moving forward, and we on our way to crowning a champion. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So playoffs and kicked off, and boy, have they started off really really good. Um, Had a little drought though. The last couple of days, we've had a few good games per day, but we had some blowouts. We made some predictions and we gave some analysis, and we both have been right on some, but we both have been wrong on some, and we gonna jump right to it. You know, so let's start with the easy games first. I don't really have much to say about Orlando and Milwaukee. I will say this, you know, of course, Milwaukee is going to win this. We knew that. We thought it was going to be a sweep. Orlando caught them slipping the first game, and they won. They're not going to win another game, I don't believe. Regardless
No.
if they do, it's still going to be Milwaukee. But I'm not going to lie. I don't have that much faith in Milwaukee. I don't. When it comes to the overall, championship, even getting out of the East. And I said this before on one of our shows, but Milwaukee reminds me of Cleveland. Like Milwaukee with the Greek Freak reminds me of LeBron with Cleveland when he was there the first time.
Yeah.
He's such a great player that for 82 game season, in this case it was like 60 something, maybe 70 something, game season, you can beat teams and have a great record. Because when you get in the playoffs, teams game plan against you for a 7 game series. And if they
Right.
can find something to stop you or make it difficult, then it's hard to get around that 4 games straight, which is why they was able to stop LeBron all those times in Cleveland because he was the only person they really had to stop. And then you had players like Mo Williams and Eric Snow, Aaron McKee. But no, I think Aaron McKee was Philly. I'm getting my teams mixed up with 76ers. But they had players that played hard and they made the team really good. Ilgauskas, but in the grand scheme of things, they just weren't good enough. They brought Anton Jameson. So when I look at Milwaukee, the Greek Freak, same position as LeBron. But then you have somebody who we all see as a good player and an all star, Chris Middleton. That's Mo Williams. Like that's Mo Williams all day. You know, look at how Chris Middleton has played the last couple games against Orlando. I mean, yes, he may have had some good games when the Greek Freak wasn't playing, but number one, Eek East, man, I can't talk. Week week East, you know what I'm saying? Week East, and I mean, and they have a good team. As far as like just moving the ball around, defensive minded or whatever. It was the same way when LeBron was there. When LeBron didn't miss games, so we didn't get a chance to see what the team would do when he wasn't there. When he left, they was trash. But I just don't see the Milwaukee Bucks going all the way, and I'm kind of worried about them. But as far as this series, I don't have much to say about it. You know.
Yeah, I don't have a lot either. I will say this: they will not go far if Chris Middleton keeps playing the way he's playing. I think in Game 3 he had 17 points, um, and he actually only had 16 points combined in Game 1 and 2. Yeah, you can get along, you can get away with that bad play playing against the Magic, who basically have nobody on their team. Um, and made our prediction of a sweep look kind of crazy because y'all came out flat on your tails the first game, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I don't think if they're not getting the production out of Bledsoe and Middleton, they may not get out the second or third round, to be honest with you, because I'm gonna tell you, Boston and Toronto is gonna be something to deal with. So they got it coming for them. They're gonna have to step their game up. Greek Freak by himself is not gonna be enough. But that's pretty much all I got to say about that series. It's pretty much over.
Yeah. Uh, Toronto, Brooklyn. I commend Brooklyn for coming in and playing hard with all the injuries that they had and the team that they're throwing out there. I'm a believer in Karis LeVert now. He's showing that he can be a very versatile player. He's being an assist guy. He's bringing, he's scoring the ball. He's leading the team, but it's just too much firepower on the Toronto Raptors. They're gonna close it out today. Um, they're gonna, I would like to see Brooklyn, extend it one more game, make it five. But the way that Toronto's been blowing them out every game, I don't see that happening. Um, but Toronto look good. I mean, I know it's against a very inferior team, but they look good. Yeah,
Yeah, they do. They really do. And I mean, I think we both call this. I mean, it was going to be a sweep. I mean, the Nets just don't have enough. Even they're not even healthy to be healthy. And I know that
yeah,
sounds kind of funny, but we talk about them missing Kevin Durant and Kyrie. They missing even more than that. I
yeah,
mean, they missing backups to backups. Spencer Dinwiddie ain't playing. Stuff like that. I think as far as Karis LeVert, big shout out to him. I think he's gonna be a super. I ain't gonna say superstar, but definitely an all star. He's gonna be that third guy next year, and he's ready. So big shout out to Karis LeVert. But no, this series it'll be over. It's a wrap.
yeah, yeah. The Nets, they have a great problem to have trying to figure out how that starting rotation is gonna look with Spencer Dinwiddie there, Karis LeVert, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant. It all sounds great to have that as a starting five along with either with DeAndre Jordan, but I don't think they're gonna do that. I think as a coach who knows the worth of having scores like that, you got to have some of them coming off the bench. I would even say, depending on what they could bring in free agency, maybe have Dinwiddie and Levert come off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Like having a 1-2 punch on both squads. Because you got enough firepower with Kyrie and Kevin Durant. You don't need a big three on the court. You got somebody like a decent center, and then if you're able to get maybe have Joe Harris, somebody who can hit the three, and then somebody else. I don't know. Right now, I mean, maybe they need somebody else. But if you have Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie coming off the bench, and then your finishing five, at least you're finishing four along with somebody else is Kyrie, Kevin Durant, Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie. That's nice, man.
Yeah,
That's a nice four to finish the game off with, and who knows what that fifth person be. It probably won't be DeAndre Jordan, or maybe depending on the game. But that's a nice problem to have. The Nets, look out for the Nets. We talked about this earlier, but yeah, the Nets gonna be they're gonna be a team to watch next year.
yeah, they're gonna be something serious.
Yeah. Who we got next? The the Boston and 76ers. So we both knew the Boston Celtics were going to win this series. I thought it was going to go five. It may still go five. I have a strong feeling that the 76ers are going to eke a win out tonight. I said that I said that it was going to be close as far as the games would be close. I was off one game. One game, it was a complete blowout. First game, it was pretty competitive, even though they end up, going up towards the end of the game and winning by, I think, by double digits, the Celtics over the 76ers. But for the most part, it was competitive. The last game was very competitive, all
Yeah,
the way to the very end. And I
right.
think this game is going to be very competitive as well. But I think the 76ers are going to come out with a win to make it go 5 games. But at the end of the day, this is going to be Boston Celtics series to win. So I predict that Tuesday it'll be over for that particular, for that series or whatever. What you think?
Um, to be honest with you, everything I look at and everything I understand, I'm not surprised by the series. I'm a little bit surprised based off of the fact that sorry about that Joel Embiid he's actually played well. I think I initially made the statement that Joel Embiid had to be a 30 and 15 guy for them to win. Well, it wouldn't have mattered. I don't care if he averaged 30 and 15, they still weren't going to win. Jason Tatum is the real deal. And the other thing of that is you get to see how important Ben Simmons is and really how good that dude is. This series is showing just how good Ben Simmons really is because they just don't, they look terribly unmatched against Boston Celtics. I mean, and don't get me wrong, Boston has played well, but they without Gordon Hayward too. And I mean, they just don't look like they should even be on the court together. I mean, I didn't. I like you said, it's been close games, but it was never a time where I was watching one of these games and I'm like, Philadelphia might pull this off. Just about every one of these games I watched, I felt like Boston was going to win it at the end, even
Yeah.
though they were close. So, it's kind of one of those things where it was never like a doubt of mine of who was going to pull out in any of the games, even though they were close based off of how they've been playing. And Tobias Harris really hadn't played well either, which I think has affected them a lot also. He hadn't played up to the standard he needs to play to for them to be able to win. So, I mean, with that being said, as much as I want to see, I saw Joel Embiid saying I don't want to get swept. Well, to be honest with you, just watching these first 3 games, I don't think it's up to you. I feel like I understand that you don't want to be swept, but I think they're gonna end it today. I think they're gonna be swept. I don't think it's gonna make it to 5. I just don't think they have enough. Unless Tobias Harris comes out and he plays lights out. If he don't play lights out, they will lose today.
You know, they're gonna lose, and it ain't even because they don't have enough. It on the surface, it seems like they don't have enough, but you got a player like Tobias Harris. You paying him $180 million for a reason. Now, I don't think he should be making that much. Put it like this: I don't want to count his pockets. He can make as much as they give him. I don't think he's worth that much. I don't think he's worth that much. But you gave him that much. You gave um Al Horford like 120 million or something like that. He definitely wasn't worth that when you got him. He's on the tail end of his career and it's showing right now. But you gave
Right.
those players that much money, they need to play like they're making that much money. The thing is, you're not putting the team in a position to win, Brett Brown. Bye bye, Brett Brown. This
I
is
knew
the
that
end
was coming.
of Brett Brown. But like I say, on the surface, it looks like they don't have enough. They may not have enough to win the series, but they have enough to play better and make this more of a series. They don't. They don't. They like their game plan is flawed. I say flawed. I don't even know if there's a game plan. When you watch them play defense on the pick and roll, are you going up? Or are you going down? You got two people following the guy that goes around the screen. Like all that's supposed to be a part of your game plan and how you play the pick and roll. Sometimes they go under the pick and roll. Sometimes they go, they go on top of the pick and roll. Like you just don't even know what their game plan is. I mean, and when you see stuff like that, you don't see cohesiveness. You don't see, like the team communicating. They're just completely unstructured in how they're doing things. That is coaching,
All day.
coaching,
All
coaching.
day.
And even if Ben Simmons was there, they weren't gonna beat the Boston Celtics. I know I picked the 76ers to win. It was a long shot, but I felt like, this was a prime opportunity for them to come through and really show that they had enough talent and team camaraderie to band together and win. But Ben Simmons would have made this more competitive, but it probably would have went 7, and then they would have ended up losing. But anyways, yeah, this is probably going to be it. I think the 76 is going to win this one game because, just history shows that a team that's down 3-0 come out super hungry, and the team that's up 3-0, they just naturally a little lackadaisical. Even though their mindset may not feel that way, their body language kind of shows it. They know that they have time, and they may very well end up losing this game. So Miami Heat, Indiana. Now this series is going more like I thought the Boston 76ers series would go, where it was
Really?
yeah, because I thought this series is going more like it. I thought this series is going to be like a 7 game series, and I thought it was going to be back and forth. But the Boston, so when I said the Boston and 76 game was going to be close, like I said, I was meaning close games, but Boston would probably win in 5. These Indiana games are close games. Like
Yeah.
these are hard fought games, Indiana Miami games. But Miami at the very end is just finding a way to win all of them. And I mean, this could very well end in the sweep today as well. Well, tomorrow. I think they play tomorrow, but it could very well end in the sweep. This is a very competitive, evenly matched series, but they just have like I said, what Indiana don't have, Miami does have, and that's a bona fide superstar. Some people
Hmm.
don't call Jimmy Butler a superstar; they call him a star. I call him a superstar. He's a superstar in my book. He's right up there with the top players. He's shown everywhere he goes, he can make a team a winner and lead that team and be the man. And what he's doing in Miami is incredible. And that's honestly, I'm starting to think that that's the team to look out for.
Yeah.
Compared to Toronto and Boston, I'm starting to think that that's the team to look out for. But yeah, what's your thoughts?
Bro, I'm gonna tell you something. I expected this series to be a lot closer as far as who was winning. I mean, as far as the matchup, I knew every game would be a dogfight, and they have been. I mean, these teams have played very hard. But like you said, we kind of mentioned it. I think you touched on it a little bit more last show than I did. But Jimmy Butler is the difference. These games are close, but when it gets to the end, and you got to have that one guy take over, he's taking over the games. He's literally doing it. And no knock to Oladipo, but I don't think Oladipo right. He's not ready yet. I mean, I'm watching him out there, and I'm seeing not scrub. I hate to call any NBA player a scrub because they all NBA players, but you know what I mean. And there guys out there shutting him down that should not be shutting Victor Oladipo down. I mean, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, those guys are guarding you. They should not be guarding Oladipo. So I don't think he's back all the way back yet. And with that being said, T.J. Warren, yes, he did. He was the starter bubble coming out. He not that dude. I mean, he's not that dude. He had a couple of good games. He wowed us. It was the bubble. I think people were still adjusting the plan and stuff like that. But no, he's not that guy. Um, and just watching this series in general, the Miami got too much. I'm gonna tell you, man. Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero, them boys can shoot the lights off the ball, man. I mean, anybody sleeping on them, Tyler Hero's probably gonna make first team all rookie. Duncan Robinson, dude's a killer. So I mean, when you put that whole team together, you got Adebayo, All Star this year, Jimmy Butler, superstar. To go along with everything else, I mean, bruh, I'm looking to see them and possibly see them in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm leaning that way right now. Out of the teams that are in the out of the East, I feel like they can compete with Boston. Because I see it 4 teams. I see this being a 4 team race at this point, and that's Boston, Miami, Milwaukee, and the Raptors. That's
Mm.
what I see. That's where I see this going. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised. Just everything I look at, I feel like Miami can compete with any of those 3 teams.
Honestly, I feel like Miami at this point, the way they playing, I feel like they're better than any of those teams. Like I said, when you look at the team itself, like I heard Reggie Miller make a comment, when the Last Dance was hot and heavy, and he was being interviewed, like not on the show but after the fact. He was saying that that year they lost the year that they had that really good team and they played the Bulls in the East Conference Finals and they lost in game 7 and he said that they were up maybe with like 4 or 5 minutes left, and the reason they lost is because I forgot the reason why he said that they lost, but Jordan ended up doing this thing and they ended up losing, and he said he feels like he said he know that the Bulls won. He said, but he feels like they were the better team, and not because you know he's better than Jordan. He said overall, everything that they brought to the table as a team was better. They just had somebody on the team was godlike, which is Michael Jordan, who was able to
Right.
will his team to victory. And that's why I say I don't feel like Milwaukee's going nowhere because Greek Freak ain't there yet. He ain't there. He's. I don't think he's the person. I don't think he's good enough to will that team to the type of victory that you need over a team that's really good defensively and can
Right.
score. So that's what I feel like about Miami. When you look at that team from top to bottom, I think they have the better team out of in the East. Comparing them to Boston. Yes, Boston has a good team as well. But when you look at somebody like Daniel Tice compared to Bam Adebayo, then you look at they got a Jason Tatum, but then they got a Jimmy Butler. Then you look at they got a Jalen Brown. Okay, they got a Jalen Brown, but Jalen Brown is a integral part of that team. But look, Jay Crowder can do a lot of the same things that Jalen Brown does. You know, they got a Kimber Walker, Goran Dragic. They do a lot of the same things. But what does Miami have that Boston don't have? Them snipers and Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson, and then Kendrick Dunn didn't even touch the court. Like he not even. And then they got Kelly Olynyk coming off the bench. He's more like a Daniel Tice, but he actually shoots the three better.
Hmm.
Then you look at Toronto, same thing. You got a core three that's really, really good. And then you got Ibaka coming off the bench who can stretch, who's a stretch on four. You got Gasol, who's a big man, who really won't play that many minutes against a team like Miami because he's too slow. Just let's be honest, he's too slow, and he won't be able to defend Adebayo because Adebayo can stretch the floor as well.
Right.
And I mean, Toronto has more of a bench in my opinion because you bring in Norman Powell off the bench. Well, actually, no, they don't. I'm sorry because OJ on the Nobe is a starter now, so he's not even coming off the bench. So Norman Powell's Ibaka and Norman Powell coming off the bench. So they have a pretty good bench. And I didn't mention Marcus Smart for Boston, but Marcus Smart he comes out and gives you good defense. But again, like I said, you got Tyler Hero coming off the bench, lighting it up. You got Derrick Jones Jr. coming off the bench, playing good defense. So I mean, when you look at the team top to bottom, Miami to me has a better all around team.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I
know,
look, I'm gonna give you everything on that, man. There's one thing I just gotta interject on, man. I was over here kind of fuming a little bit when you said it, man. And look, I love you, bro. Jalen Brown, kind of like a Jay Crowder can do with Jalen Brown. No, 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 no. Don't do Jalen like that, man.
so let me tell you why I say that.
I know what you mean
Jalen
by it.
Brown
I
is a
know,
better player. Yes,
yeah,
Jalen
he's
Brown
a
is a
soup,
better player.
more
But when
like
you
a
talk
souped
about a
up Jay
team,
Crowder.
exactly when you talk about a team and what they do for the team, Jay Crowder and Jalen Brown, they both in my opinion are equivalent when it comes to defense. But Jalen Brown adds more offense, but they don't need Jay Crowder for the offense because they
Yeah,
got the other pieces to
right.
score.
Now, see,
You
I'll
know,
give you that. I give you that. If we,
you know.
if you want to say it that way, I feel a lot better hearing it that way. Saying, defensively they're about what is played because Jalen Brown on another level.
He's on a different level from
Yeah.
Jay
So,
Crowder, you know, because
so
their games with Jay Crowder come with the threes and come with the with scoring. So there's times where he can light it up. So he's if you want to say he's a poor man's Jalen Brown, that's fine. But like if when I say that, I'm talking about for the team dynamic and what the
yeah, I
team
give you that.
like
I give you that.
if they needed Jay Crowder to be a scorer, then Miami wouldn't be as good of a team because Jay
True.
Crowder is not a scorer and Jalen Brown is not a natural scorer, but because he can slash and get to the basket, he can put up points. And that's why he's considered what he's like the. I say he's probably the third option. I mean, him and Kimber like two B.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it just
Something like that.
it depends because they kind of if you've been watching the playoffs, they kind of stagger them. They always have one of the two of them on the court, either Jason Tatum or Jalen Brown.
Yeah,
One of the two of them has been on the court pretty much at all times, even running with the second unit. Brad Stevens always wants one of the two of them on the court. You'll
and that's
pretty much
smart.
notice that most of the time. He never has both of them out the game at the same time.
And that's smart because Brad Stevens is a good coach. You see the difference in coaching. You can tell when you got a good coach. Everything just looks and runs smoothly.
Ain't
But
that the
anyways,
truth?
back to this Miami Indiana game. I think Indiana. is gonna pull one out. I feel like this is not gonna be a sweep. Um, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is. I wouldn't be surprised if Miami win this next game tomorrow, and they got a lot of time to rest and recuperate and get ready for the next round. So on to the Western Conference Finals. I mean, Western Conference playoffs. My bad. Um,
You getting excited, huh? We coming. We
let's
gonna get
start.
there, bro. Slow down a little bit.
let's start off with. Let's start off with OKC and Houston. Well, they got a win in. So,
Yeah.
this the thing is OKC squandered a huge opportunity. Huge opportunity. Russell Westbrook missed 3 games. We was thinking 2. Now he may Russell Westbrook may actually be able to play. Like if they would have been down 0-2,
He probably would have
he
played.
probably would have came in.
Yeah.
But they was handling them pretty good, and they was handling them convincingly. OKC was playing like crap. They was playing terrible. Russell Westbrook probably would have played, I'm guessing, the third game, but why play him when you beating the team convincingly and you're not 100%? Rest up.
Right.
I've been a little surprised by this. I wasn't expecting OKC to play as bad offensively. I mean, if you look at the defense, though, they've been playing well. Like Houston have been putting up 120 points, 130 points. Like they actually been playing well. Um, but they haven't been putting the ball in the basket until yesterday. So this could end up being a series still. We'll see. I think tomorrow will really tell us, based off what OKC is able to do. What's your thoughts?
Well, this is the thing for me with that. Well, of course, the series has surprised me, but it has not surprised me based off of what I saw. The reason I say that, our predictions were based off of Chris Paul coming out and killing it.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what happened yesterday? He
Well,
killed it. Guess what happened? They won. That overtime, when they went to overtime, first of all, who made the pass to get Shea Gilgis Alexander open for them to go to overtime? Chris Paul. It took for them to miss a free throw also. But if you notice, Chris Paul almost made a reversal behind the back layup to win the game at the end. But what happened when overtime came? He took over. We both knew these, we figured these games would be close. And that was our X factor. Chris Paul at the end of these close games, taking over, being that guy that was going to facilitate. Well, he really hadn't played. He even said it himself after game 2, going into game 3, I need to wake up. He played horrible. I mean, for Chris Paul standards, I'm expecting Chris Paul to come out here and dang the average 30 and 10 against Houston. I mean, he hadn't even been averaging 20. So I mean, just looking at everything, all my predictions are based off of Chris Paul. If Chris Paul can come with it, if he comes with it, they're gonna have a hard time. But Houston has been playing good defense too, man. That's another surprise that I was not expecting. Houston has actually been playing defense. I mean, I know it's crazy to say with a D'Antoni offense, but or D'Antoni team in general, but I mean, they really have kind of clamped down and been really playing.
yeah, they've been playing better defense. OKC just missed a lot of shots though. Like I watched those first 2 games. I didn't get to see the one yesterday. And those first 2 games, they was missing shots,
Yeah,
like just missing shots. If you would have told me that you was gonna hold Harden to I think 15 points in the game, would the other team win? I would say yeah, all day. If Harden only scored 15 points, not only did Houston win, it was a blowout.
right,
you know,
right,
I mean, and so you're right. They have been playing better defense. I noticed that they've been really, really rotating. Playing up on defenders, like getting back on defense. They've been communicating. You can tell that they've been playing good, better defense, and that they've been working on it. But OKC just really was shooting the ball bad. I mean, it was ridiculous
right.
how bad they were shooting. So yesterday they played well. I still think this is going to be a series. I'm going to say 7. I still think it's gonna go 7. You know, and I guess we'll see. Tomorrow is gonna be a big deal for OKC if they can make it 2-2. Then I definitely see a 7-game series. But if they go 3-1, 6 at the most, maybe
Oh
5.
man, if they don't win tomorrow, it's gonna be over in 5.
Yeah,
Because they will, Russ gonna come back. If they got to win, but I think you're absolutely right. If they win tomorrow, it'll go 7.
Yeah.
It will go 7 if they win tomorrow. But I just think that team is not experienced enough to come out with that fight and that dog down 3-1. I know you got Chris Paul as the leader of your team, but is he going to be able to get all those young guys up and ready
Well,
and thinking they can actually win and come back from a 3-1 series deficit versus 2-2? So I think it'll be all mental, based off of tomorrow. If it's 2-2, I think it's go 7.
yeah.
If it's 3-1, it'll go 5.
Yeah. Well, you don't have experience in something until you have it. So,
That's
you
true.
know, this is
And you
this is
usually
the game.
lose the first time, or you usually learn from that
Yeah.
first experience. So
Yeah. The benefit that they have is they have somebody who's been through it.
right.
So they not starting from scratch for the most part. So that's a positive for them that they got somebody like Chris Paul. And Steven Adams. Steven Adams been in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
yeah. It's just when
So
them lights get bright and Chris Paul kick you that ball out for that three, and it's to either go home or stay in it. Are you going? Do you have that gene in you? Because Chris Paul can only set you up. He can't make you. He can't take the nerves and the feelings and all that away from you.
yeah,
So
I think those first two games, that's what you saw in a lot of those players is probably nerves. They wasn't playing well. Yesterday may have been a turning point for OKC because Schroeder
right,
came out and murdered it. Schroeder was an absolute dog, and Shea Gilgis actually woke up game two.
dude.
Shea Gilgis was the only one that actually played well in game two, so he just carried it over into game
To
three.
game three, right,
Yeah,
dude. I I wish you wouldn't even brought up Schroeder. Dude, I done played that dude in fantasy. First two games. Just knowing, man, Schroeder gonna come out and kill it. And play like he did yesterday. Well, guess what? I'm out of town now. I can't play no fantasy. And guess who decides the one time I can't play fantasy and I'm gonna pick him, he wanna go off. Man, Schroeder, you my boy, man, but come on, man. I
feel you.
stole that from y'all NFL. Just I don't want no copyright issues or nothing.
Well, I don't think it's branded. I don't think it's branded. But Nuggets and Jazz, what you got with this one, man?
Oh man, I'll be honest with you, man. Just watching this series, it's actually been pretty crazy. I like it. It's been a really great series for me. Donovan Mitchell showing me something, man. I honestly have to say, I'm very impressed with Donovan Mitchell. I'm impressed with his clutchness. I'm impressed with the way he's shooting the ball. Um, you know how I feel about Donovan Mitchell. He can kind of be up and down. Um, he don't always feel I don't always feel like he takes that role and that dominant role or that leadership role and just try to take over games like I feel like he should or he's capable of. Well, I'm gonna tell you, watching these playoffs, he's doing it. And Conley, bruh, I don't know what it is about having a kid and then coming back. Because I'm gonna tell you, Conley come back on fire, bro. Conley playing like that, it's gonna be hard to beat the Jazz, man. This boy, what did he have? 29 points, I think. But I think he was
Yeah,
like 7 to 8.
27 to 29, something like that.
He was like 7 to 8 from three or something like that. I mean, he came out and he's shooting the lights out the ball. Rudy Gobert had like 20 and 10 or 20 and 9 in the first half. Like, I mean, when if they playing collectively like that, the Jazz scary, man. If Conley's playing like that, they're very scary. I mean, that's just my opinion on it.
Yeah,
And to be honest with you, the Nuggets, I've seen nothing out of the Nuggets. Nothing that has given me any confidence that this won't be over. It may go 6, just because the Nuggets are talented enough and the Jazz can be up and down. But I'll be surprised if it goes 6 because for me, I'm thinking it may go 5. Because after the last couple of games, the Jazz have just dominated the Nuggets. It don't even look like it's been really. They don't seem like they can match up with them.
yeah. So I'm still on the same that I believe when we first started this conversation last week. This is gonna go 7. I'm not getting caught up in how bad they beat the Denver Nuggets the last two games because they've played each other 4 times in the last 2 weeks and they're 2-2. People forget that they went into a triple overtime the first time right before we got out of the bubble. I mean, right before the playoffs happened, and then Denver beat them in overtime the first game, and then Utah just happened to be clicking on all cylinders. Like to me, that's not indicative of the matchup between these two. I feel like Utah they made adjustments and Denver wasn't ready. That's not gonna be what's happens tonight. They play tonight at 8 o'clock, it's gonna be a close game. I'd be very surprised. Now I'm not gonna say Utah not gonna win. If Utah wins, then yeah, it probably won't go seven. But I'm not gonna. I'm not. I don't feel like the series is gonna change because of this last two games of how Utah's been playing. I just think Denver is they played bad and Utah came out on fire and they and sometimes when the team comes out flat and the team comes out really moving the ball and hitting their shots, it can get out of hand real quick. And that's exactly what happened. Got
Yeah.
out of hand real quick. So I still feel like this is a 7 game series. These teams to me are very evenly matched. What we saw in the first game to me is more indicative of what we're going to see moving forward with these two teams. Um, they like I said. I mean, Mike Conley. You're right. If Mike Conley is playing like that, they're going to win this series, hands down. Because with Donovan Mitchell doing what he's doing, you got Mike Conley coming in doing what he's doing. And then if Rudy Gobert is getting 20 and 10, you know, there's not much you can do with that. I
Right.
just don't think Rudy Gobert has always been inconsistent, so I don't expect him to have games like that on a regular basis. Mike Conley has actually been inconsistent this year, so I don't expect him to continue to have games like that. But as far as this series, you're right. They are dangerous. Look out for them. But regardless of how bad they beat Denver in this series, if they make it to the next round, I don't care. They're not gonna get out of the next round. I mean, they play who they gonna play? They
Well,
playing the Clippers or they playing the Lakers? Like
yeah.
they're
Well,
not gonna
yeah.
get past them.
Well, definitely. That's no doubt. Well, the Clippers kind of suspect to me right now.
Well,
But
we're about to get to
but
them next. We're about to
yeah, I
get to
know.
them
But
next.
but no, but no, I'm not. I don't really base that prediction off of how well the Jazz are playing. I'm basing that prediction off of how the Nuggets has looked the last couple of games.
Hmm.
I haven't seen the Jamal Murray and the Nikolai Jokic that I need to see for them to win. Look, this is the thing, man. Even in that overtime game, even the one that Denver won, that was the game Donovan Mitchell had 57 points, real
Yeah.
points, and they lost. Well, guess what? Since he kind of tailed off, he's still efficiently scoring like he was. He's just getting the team more involved. Y'all have done nothing to stop Donovan Mitchell. Nothing. You don't have, and I feel like not having Will Barton is very important because Michael Porter Jr. is as well as he's been playing. He's only giving us offense. I mean, giving them offense. I mean, Will Barton was their kind of two-way guy. He could give you that defense on the one end and come back and shoot threes, pull up threes, get it to the basket, do those different things. And I feel like they're missing that. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like they're missing that a lot because we say Conley's been up and down, but Conley's just been hurt a lot.
That's
When,
why
Con-
he's
when
been up and down.
yeah, but what I mean by that is when Conley gets the minutes and he's healthy, Conley's a pretty consistent player. You leave him open for threes, he's gonna hit them. You can't. To me, it gives another element to the Utah Jazz that they didn't have. You can't guard and double Donovan Mitchell and play him the way you've been playing him with Mike Conley on the floor. And the way they've had to compete without Mike Conley, and the way they've had to fight to beat the Utah Jazz, the Nuggets, in other words, I don't feel like they got a chance adding him to the mix. I feel like it's already over.
Yeah. So I agree with you in what they're missing on defense, but I don't think it's Will Barton. I think it's Gary Harris. I think that's the one that they really
It's a
missing
good one.
for
That's a good
defense
yeah.
because he was their shutdown defender. He was the one that would be. He's the one that would be guarding Donovan Mitchell. And why I don't think he would shut Donovan Mitchell down, I do think he would make it harder for Donovan Mitchell because
Right.
Donovan Mitchell, he's not a Damian Lillard or Steph Curry, somebody that you look at and be like, oh nah, you ain't gonna shut them down. You've been trying to do your best to contain them, but you're not gonna shut them down. They still gonna get theirs. I think you can shut down Donovan Mitchell. And I'm not saying Gary Harris will be able to do that, but I do think that he would make it a lot harder for Donovan Mitchell. And I don't think that if Gary Harris was there and he was basically guarding Donovan Mitchell, you know every time. I know they do pick and roll, blah blah blah, and switches and all that. But I don't know if Mike Conley got enough in him to will that team to victory over a 7 game series. But that don't matter because Gary Harris is not playing, and
Right.
they don't really have nobody that can defend him. So I'm with you. I said it was gonna go 7. I still think it's gonna go 7. The way that the Utah Jazz looks, the adjustments that they've made, it looks like they're gonna end up winning this series. But I just don't think that the way that the games look, the last two games are going to continue to look that way. I feel like these games could be much closer. I feel like Denver's going to squeeze out a couple, and at the end of the day, it's going to go probably 7 games. Whew. All right, the two we've been waiting to talk about: Clippers, Mavericks. I'm gonna let you shoot at this one first, man. Go ahead.
Bruh. Luca. I can't say his name enough. Clippers, y'all lucky he got hurt that third game. And you, bruh, I could see this series being 2-1 or 3-0 without Porzingis getting ejected.
Porzingis
And
shouldn't have been
Luca,
ejected. That was some
right.
Luca shit.
And Luca getting hurt in the third quarter. And you still, because let's look, I'm gonna look, big shout outs to Charles Barkley. And I've been wanting to say this, but I said I was gonna hold off until I saw something. And Charles Barkley beat me to the punch the other day before we recorded for me to say playoff P, stop, bro. Quit calling yourself playoff P till you actually do something in the playoffs. Because you got bounced. You remember when you were talking about, I think we talked about last show, and we were like, man, Damian Lillard's never really had that long person. You know, you put that long person over, he never ever really just made that big shot over that long person. Remember Paul George last year?
No, I didn't say big shot. I said when you put a long defender on him, it's proven to be a little bit more problematic. But
Yeah.
he's been disproving that these playoffs already. You know.
Well, he to me he disproved it last year with Paul George because he hit a
Well,
couple of threes in
Paul
his
George,
face.
yeah, but Russ was the one that was really guarding Dame during the series. He was
Yeah,
murdering Russ. But yeah, I get what you said though. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, but my thing is I've heard a lot about Paul George, and let's be honest about it. He's a superstar until the playoffs come. He's a regular season
Yeah.
superstar, is what I've seen so far. I mean, we all want to talk about how great Paul George is, but bruh, you let the Trailblazer, you basically let Dame Lillard beat you by itself with Russ and Paul George on the team. Like when people even talked about Paul George, Kawhi Leonard recruiting Paul George, I'm like, and we'll see when the playoffs come. And guess what? He's done exactly what I expected him to do, bro. They struggling against the Dallas Mavericks. And we talk about Luka. We talk about having two of maybe the three top perimeter players in the league on the same team. They can't stop him. You know, everybody want to give credit to Kawhi and Paul George's defense. I'm gonna give the credit to Pat Bev. I really am starting to realize how important Pat Bev defensively is to that team because Luka bluesing him. Even with Pat Bev, even the first game, he bluesed him too. But I don't feel like Pat Bev was right. You know, that calf ain't been right all year, and you can tell in the way he playing and his intensity and his defense. Because the way Luka was running past Pat Bev, man, Pat Bev will elbow you across the head before he just let you run past him like that, bro. And he was just bluesing him. I'm just and bro, the Clippers look real suspect to me, even though it's up 2-1. Man, they're up 2-1 with some fluky stuff having to happen for them to be able to be up 2-1. They have not dominated the Mavericks by no means.
No, they haven't. You know, but first before we go there, we gonna have to acknowledge that we was wrong. I ain't gonna let us continue to go further and not, give Luca his props by saying we said he wasn't gonna have a good series,
Yeah,
and yeah, we was wrong.
way off,
Flat out.
way
Just
off.
off. Luca's doing his thing. I mean, to be honest, I'm watching these games and I'm really surprised at how easy it's been for him. Something's just not right because, and maybe you're right. Maybe it's Pat Bev. Maybe he's the engine that makes that team, like tick when it comes to being cohesive with the defense. But Luca is just blowing by everybody. Like, I mean, they're not doubling him a lot, and when they do double him, he's still just getting by everybody and making the right pass or pulling up for three or hitting the shot. I mean, he's just making it look easy. Like,
And he's so
I mean,
slow. He looks
that's what
so
I'm saying.
slow
He,
doing
he
it.
he got good fakes. So that's something. He had good ball control. He got good handles, but he is slow. So it takes a real good defender. Like I was always taught, and I mean, I'm not saying that I will be able to handle Luca. That's not what I'm saying. But I was always taught that when you play defense, you stay eye level with the person's belly button, and that's where you look. Because if you pay attention to their body movements, their arms, the ball, and you move with that, then it's easy to fake you. It's easy to get you off guard. But your body move, but your center of gravity doesn't move with the fakes and all that. So if you stay centered on his belly button, and that's when you move with that part of the body, then everything he does, you're gonna move with that person. When you watch Pat Bev play defense, he's eye level with the belly button
Mhm.
always, and that's one of the reasons why he's a great defender. Because he don't like Pat Bev don't get a lot of blocks as far as trying to block your shot up top. He'll get blocks by stripping you when you try to go up, because his hands are always out, his center of gravity is low, and he follows your stomach. Like that's where his eye level is. So
Right,
and he's quick, so he's able to move with you. That's why he's a dog on defense. And I don't
right.
see a lot of that on defense. I see a lot of people like standing kind of straight up. They're not really all the way down. Their eyes are up where your face is. So they see all your fakes and they go on with you. As you move to the left, they go to the left. As you move to the right, they go to the right. They
You're
doing
right. Yeah.
everything that you do. So I see too much of that on defense, which is why I feel like it's hard for a lot of people to defend. Like they're not even teaching how you defend them. Well, I don't know if that's the case or what. But when I watch Pat Bev, he got it. That's what makes him
Right,
a premier defender. So,
right.
but anyways, besides that, I just see Luca like it's so easy. It just looks so damn easy.
It
That's all
do.
I can keep
It
saying. It's like,
it do.
and you're right. He's moving in slow motion, but he getting to the basket, and it
And
is
they
what it
can't stop
is.
him. They
I
can't
mean,
stop him.
you're right. This game could easily be 2-1 Dallas, 3-0 Dallas. Kristaps was kicked out for something that was BS. He should have been kicked out. And Luca got hurt in the third quarter of the third game, and that hurt them go down the stretch. You know, I mean, Paul George been playing like nothing, and Kawhi done stepped up. I ain't gonna lie, Kawhi been having really good games, but he has to because his number two ain't doing it.
Right.
And I mean, Dallas, if they don't get down on themselves and keep playing the way they've been playing, they just had some bad luck. If they
Right.
keep playing the way they've been playing, they could easily, even this thing up today and make it a series and possibly win.
Man,
But
it depends on that ankle for Luca, man.
and I
Um,
and I hope they win, and
because of the quick
not
turnaround.
because I hope they win, and not because of it's the easier matchup for the Lakers. I hope they win because everybody's gonna start saying, "Oh, Dallas gonna beat the Lakers. They beat the Clippers. The Clippers was gonna win the championship. Look, they beat the Clippers." Listen, it's all about matchups. All right, it's all about matchups. Uh, Clearly, the Dallas Mavericks match up really well with the Clippers, but the Lakers then played the Mavs twice this year. They match up great against the Mavs. The type of defense they play, Luca two times has not played well against them because of the way they play defense. So if they do play, then the reason why I'm saying is like I think it would be easier for the Lakers if the Dallas won, but I'm not wanting the road to be easier. I just would love to see the people come out the woodworks talking about how Dallas gonna win the championship now that they beat the Clippers and they gonna beat the Lakers, and so everybody can see how easy it's gonna be. But anyways, besides that,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, 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 no. That would, I would, if anybody who would come out and say that would be would be complete
Hey, you know it's
idiots.
gonna happen because people they don't look at matchups. They don't look at how somebody won or how like the series went. They just look at the final, the outcome. And if Dallas was to beat the Clippers, well, a lot of people have Clippers beating the Lakers, and Dallas beat the Clippers with a 21-year-old point guard and Chris Stops, and they don't have and a whole bunch of role players. They don't even have top five players on the team, and that's what's gonna happen. You know
Yeah,
that's what's gonna happen.
it sounds good for the banter, and people are gonna want to throw that out there. But like you say, first of all, the Clippers don't have an answer for Porzingis.
They
We got
don't.
about the
And
Lakers got
we
about
got that part
five
right.
of them.
We got that part right.
Yeah, the Lakers got about five of them.
Hmm.
Well, to be honest with you, we got right what we felt the Clippers were gonna do to Luca. What we got wrong is it not affecting him. They have beat him up. They have beat him up a lot. He's been going to the line a lot. They've done exactly what we expected them to do. What we didn't expect is Luca to say, Oh, y'all gonna keep knocking me down? Okay, I'm gonna just keep driving. I'm still gonna put 40 on you. I don't care how many times you knock me to the ground. I'm still gonna get my 40. That's the
Yeah.
part I wasn't expecting. Even all the experience Luca gotten, overseas and playing for championship, being playoff MVPs and stuff. I still felt like, you coming over to the NBA. It's a different ball game. That pressure, you got these guys. No, he's more than ready for the pressure, and
No,
it might
he
help
the real deal. He the
it
real
might
deal.
help a
Yeah.
lot also that they're playing in a bubble. There's no fans, there's no home court advantage. All that goes into play when you're talking about a 21-year-old that's a superstar, bona fide superstar. We ain't even got to talk about it. Bona fide superstar, and you really have no pressure. There's no fans, there's no nothing. It's just you're just going out there and playing. That's the best thing for a team like the Dallas Mavericks, who got a lot of young pieces. Because we think about Porzingis. Porzingis been in the league 5 years, but he only like 25. He's still a
Mm,
kid. He's still young too. I mean, he's only 4 years older than Luka.
yeah.
So when you look at that, I mean, man, they gonna be scary. They're gonna be scary in the future, man. And you're right. If Luka is right, if Luka's ankle is right, because it was a quick turnaround from, the game the other night and today, and they play early today too. So depending on how that ankle heals, and they said, listening to reports last night that it wasn't that serious and it wasn't a lot of swelling. So if he can come out, I very well can see this going 2-2.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely been a good series, and I hope it continues because I'm liking it. You know, I'm still not a fan of Luca because I mean they got a lot of great players. Can't be a fan of all of them, but I like his game. I like the way he play, and I like his mental fortitude. You know, he showed me a lot in these last 3 games against the Clippers. So much respect to that boy. Um, Portland Lakers. Go ahead, bro.
Bruh. Oh yeah. For everybody watching this show that knows me personally, that I talk to on a regular basis, all that stuff I had to hear after game one, even from my buddies that were Laker fans, you know who I'm talking to. You know who you are. You know who I'm talking about. All y'all, all the texts, oh my God, the Lakers are playing bad. Oh, they've been playing horrible throughout the whole bubble. Oh my God, they did this, they did that. I'm like, dude, y'all chill out. First of all, the first game of a playoff game is always a fill out game to see how the players are going to come out and play, who's going to do what. Dude, and I tried to tell everybody, y'all realize the Lakers only lost by 7. They had the worst 3-point shooting percentage in playoff history for a team that shot over 33 pointers. The worst, 15.6%. And we lost by 7. AD had 24 points on 28 shots. We lost by 7. Nobody could hit a shot. Well, guess what happened when we hit a couple of shots? 30 piece. Hey, it's just like, bruh, like, don't panic. Like, do y'all realize? And then I'm telling people, y'all realize we just beat them by 30 and LeBron had 10? We didn't even need him. Like that first game, yeah, we were it was a fill out game. We didn't hit shots. We didn't knock down shots. But a lot of people was like, oh, the Lakers haven't been shooting well all through the bubble, which is correct. But if people were also paying attention, and I had some people say, well, man, the Lakers went 3-6 in the bubble. Well, LeBron and AD wasn't playing a full slate of minutes or didn't play every game. So stop it with what the records were in the bubble is another thing for me. But I went, I tried to go back to the fact that people apparently didn't pay attention to those last 2 games. I think the Lakers shot like 38 and 42% from the three. It was coming. It was coming. And don't get me wrong, that first game against Portland, I didn't panic at all. Not only did it take for us to have the worst shooting night in NBA history, but it also took for them to hit like 3 or 4 big threes at the end of the game to win. We were up by 5 or 6 with 5 minutes left, and we were playing terrible. So for everybody who even came at me talking about how the Blazers were going to make this a series or could possibly beat the Lakers, pull yourself together. I just had to say that. Come on now. Stop it. Stop it. And y'all saw what happened last night when Braun decided when it's a clutch game, when it's that time where we need to take this series lead, 39 points. I'm done.
So I said game, I said it was going 5. I still stand by that. I don't think it's going to go in 5. I said I wasn't worried, and I'm still not. I wasn't worried when they lost the first game. I was more encouraged by this victory, though, because the blowout didn't matter to me. When you get a big lead, pressure is off of everybody. Everybody hitting shots, and so when you play a tough game like this, one where, the team is actually hitting shots, you have McCullum have a superb game. You have Carmelo have a superb game. You have Dame had a superb game, and you still beat them convincingly. Not convincingly like by a lot of points, but there wasn't a time where you felt like, oh, the Lakers might lose this game. No, I feel like they had control of the game all the way through for the most part.
Mhm.
And LeBron did his thing. AD had a great game. But that's what they can do when they want to do that. You know, People look at LeBron and they saw the 10 points. LeBron wasn't trying to score game
Mm-mm.
2. He wasn't trying to score.
Mm-mm.
Like LeBron been doing this for this. I mean, 9 straight NBA finals appearances. He know what it takes to get there. But more importantly, he know what it takes to win. We've seen LeBron go ham in the finals with no help and have a losing effort. He know that's not the formula. So why is he going to go that route in the first round of the playoffs? He knows what he needs from his teammates. So he's going to take chances on games by doing what he needs to do as the leader of the team to get those players ready. And if it results in a loss, it results in a loss. Now, when it comes down to them needing him to do what he needs to do to get out of that round, he's going to do it.
Right.
Saw it last night. But so all these, you got two types of people who, when they see stuff like that, you got two types of people. One, you box score watching. You go look at the stats in the game, and then you see LeBron only had 10 points though. You know what I'm saying? They ain't go like then you didn't see the game, and you don't really know how it looked and the dynamic of what really happened. You look at a team that wins in game 1. Portland wins the first game. Oh, they in trouble. Portland been hot in the bubble, and Lakers have been losing. You box score watching. You seeing the end of the
Mm.
result. You ain't see the game. But then you got the type that watches the game and they just don't know shit about basketball. All they know is when the ball go in the basket and when somebody miss in the
Right.
final score. They don't know. They don't know how to read the defense. They don't know like why the defense playing the way they playing. They don't know why like they not able to. They don't watch enough of a team to know how a certain team plays. Like if you watch LeBron play, you know that if he's not being aggressive as far as scoring, it's because he has an agenda behind what he wants his team to do. He
Right.
can score when he can be aggressive and score when he wants to. I'm not saying he makes every shot, but I'm saying if he wants to put up 30 to 35 points a night, you're not going to stop him from doing
Right. You're absolutely right. A
that.
hundred. 100%.
So
You know, dude, and not to interrupt, but just even watching the game yesterday, do people realize, people probably don't realize, and when you see that, you'll be like, man, like you were just saying, I never had a doubt that that game was in jeopardy. Portland was winning the whole first half.
mhm.
Most people will sit here and say, what does he mean? I don't have, he didn't have a doubt that, the Lakers were ever going to win. Well, understand we were down by 2 at the half. AD was 1 for 3, and between him and LeBron, they missed 10 free throws in the first half, and we were only down by 2. Those are the kind of things that if you know basketball, you pay attention to. And guess what? You saw what happened when AD came out and started hitting his shots. We went from down 2 up 10 like that. I mean, it didn't take no time. The game was out of hand, was done by mid third quarter. AD came out and they was calling that boy the mid-range assassin, as LeBron was saying.
Yeah.
Shout out to Carmelo too, because that boy was eating LeBron up on a few plays too, bro. But but no, bro, AD could they can't guard AD. If you watched Whiteside and Nurkic, they didn't know what to do because if AD is hitting that mid-range shot, they can't do nothing with him because if they come up on him, he gonna go around them. That's why they giving him that mid-range shot because they know if they come up, what he's gonna go right around them because both of them are too slow to guard him on the perimeter or guard him on the outside. So or at that elbow, so he's gonna kill you. And people, you just gotta you gotta notice those things as a basketball fan if you really gonna try to evaluate what's going on.
Yeah, and all those people that was talking about singing praises about Nurkic, I told you that he was not going to be a factor against the Lakers because he is not a real stretch five. Occasionally he'll shoot the three, and every now and then he'll have hot moments, but he is not a consistent enough shooter to be worried about stretching the floor. He's a better version of Hassan Whiteside when it comes to being able to have an open offense. Hassan Whiteside will completely like have you like handicapped because you know he's not finna shoot no threes. So even if they do stretch him outside and do the pick and roll, you know that you're not worried about him like being open for a shot. You do have to respect Nurkic to a certain degree, but Nurkic game is inside.
Hmm.
It's inside, and every at least between minutes 1 through 48, you got a 7 footer up there that you got to contend with. And
Right.
JaVale, Dwight Howard, or Anthony Davis.
Right.
That makes it hard for you all night. Most teams don't have that luxury, and they all three of them play defense. That's what they
Right.
thrive off of. Dwight Howard was brought there for defense, not offense. JaVale McGee was brought there for defense, not offense. And Anthony Davis is all world on both sides of the ball. That's why Nurkic and Hassan Whiteside are non-factors in this game. That's why they decided to start Hassan Whiteside because they wanted to have some extra size because that size that the Lakers have has been killing them.
Right. Right.
So Nurkic definitely was an addition for other matchups, but they just got the wrong matchup. That's
Right.
all it is. They just got the
Right.
wrong matchup.
Bro, he
So
looked gas last night, man. Did you see Nurkic at the end of that game, bro?
yeah,
Nurkic looked like he was just on the court running up and down, bro. He had nothing left.
yeah. I mean, you better get in that ice bath and get some good sleep because he right back at it tomorrow.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. I saw him miss a couple bunnies that Nurkic usually don't miss. I was like, oh, Nurkic tired as all outdoors. AD is wearing them boys out,
Mhm.
man. They just don't have an answer for him. As simple as that.
They don't. They don't. And it's all good, because unlike the rest of the world who have this revisionist history, or this the short history that they get caught up in the moment. Unlike that, neither one of us saw that, and we was like, nah, this y'all sitting up here worried, nah, ain't nothing to worry about,
Right.
you know. But anyways, so who holding this L, man? Who holding this L this week?
Whoo, man. I've actually kind of thought about this a lot, and right now, right now, Paul George, non-playoff P. You get to hold this L this week, and you're gonna hold this L every week for me until you show me that you can actually be the Paul George that everybody is. No, let me rephrase that: the Paul George that you self-proclaimed yourself to be, Mr. Playoff P. No, as far as right now, you're gonna hold this L, non-playoff P, until you decide to wake the hell up.
Got you. So I got two. I ain't gonna let you off the hook with that one for next week. You gonna have to come with two hold this L's if you gonna have Paul George be your hold this L
No,
because
I'll
he
have
don't
another
come.
one.
Yeah.
He just gonna stay on the list. He get to stay
so
on the list until he do something.
so I got two. I'm pretty sure you saw this, Lottie. So in game in game two, Portland and the Lakers. So Kyle Kuzma catches catches the ball on the sideline, not sideline, but in the corner and shoots a three off the side of the backboard. Literally the same play. Gary Trent catches the ball in the corner and shoots a three off the side of the backboard. I'm like, what the hell y'all doing? Y'all trading bricks? Like y'all, and then in the fourth quarter, Gary Trent shot another three off the side of the backboard. I'm like, y'all definitely got to hold this hill for that. I mean, come on now, y'all pros. Ain't no way y'all should be shooting the ball off the side of the backboard and let somebody get a piece of it or tip it. You know, y'all like wide open in the corner. You shoot the ball off the side of the backboard. What the hell is that? But on a more serious note, I'm gonna take it to baseball. Fernando Tatis Jr. The Padres are beating the Rangers 11-3, I think, 10-3. It's the bottom of the eighth inning. Bases loaded. I think it was no outs. I can't remember how many outs it was. The pitcher decides to throw. So his bases loaded, 3-0 count, 3 balls, 0 strikes. The pitcher decides to throw a strike right down the middle of the plate, to the hottest baseball player in the league. And yes, he hit a grand slam, but that's not the pitcher's not holding the L. Who's holding the L? The manager for the Texas Rangers and the manager for San Diego, because they're bringing up these unwritten, and I'm doing air quotes, unwritten rules that baseball has. So the unwritten rule is when you beating somebody by that much, the game is pretty much over. Why are you showing off? Basically, it's a 3-0 count. Just take the pitch, you know, whatever. That's bullshit. All right. If you can tell me that a team has never come back from down 7 runs in the ninth inning, then maybe I'll listen to you. But there have been teams who have gotten on a hitting streak at the very last end of the game and come back from 7 runs, even more than 7 runs. So why would I not take advantage of that? So the Texas Rangers coach gets really upset. He voices his concerns on the sideline. Next pitch, the pitcher hits the batter because that's baseball. That's how they do. If I was that baseball player, I would have beat that ass. I ain't gonna lie, I would have charged the mound. Then after the game, they asked the Padres manager about it. He didn't even have Fernando Tatis Jr. back. He spoke about how he was upset that he did it and that they gave him a signal. The signal was for him to take, and he decided to swing. So I'm like, man, have some nuts. You know what I'm saying? Have your players back. Even if you didn't agree, have your players back in public, and then go to him later and say, hey, that's bad sportsmanship in baseball. We don't do that. Even though I completely disagree that you shouldn't do it, because we competitors and you professionals, you're getting paid for it. Ain't nobody laying down for you because you getting your ass whooped. Hold this L, Texas Rangers manager and San Diego Padres manager Fernando Tatis hit that ball every single time. It's ridiculous, man.
Bruh, that is one of the dumbest stigmatisms that I've heard in sports, period. Is that you're supposed to let your foot off the gas, or you shouldn't showboat in the end zone when you're blowing somebody out, or this and this and that. If you don't want me to showboat, or you don't want me to hit a home run, or you don't want me to bust your head, stop me.
Exactly.
That's your job. You get paid to stop me. You get paid to pitch. I get paid to hit. Guess what I also get paid for? Statistics. Every home run, every RBI, that's going to help me get more money. Screw you. Screw everybody. I just wanted to put that out there. I just had to chime in on that. I just hate that in sports. Us being
Yeah.
sports players, man, I hate that.
I hate it too. And baseball have all these unwritten rules. They got more unwritten rules than written rules. Things that you're supposed to know not to do. Like, and even like hitting somebody at the because teams got beef. Now you head hunting. Man, I swear. Anyways,
Yeah.
real quick with fantasy. We haven't got that much time left, so we're not gonna go deep into it. But you got any picks that you want to throw out real quick?
To be honest with you, I think right now everything is kind of is pretty much kind of self evident on who to play kind of every week. It's kind of up and down. Your role players are the ones that's real unpredictable. I'm gonna tell people he didn't play as good this last game, but the game before he did, Justin Holiday, that's somebody as a value pick. I'm not sure are the Pacers playing today. I'm sorry, I kind of threw that out
Tomorrow.
there. Not even sure they're
Tomorrow.
playing tomorrow.
Saying
You know, as,
We saying today and tomorrow. Monday is the day we're talking about. Pacers is
right,
tomorrow
right.
because we're recording on
You
Sunday.
know, value picks. I'm gonna throw out some value picks because at this point, I mean, the stars are who the stars are gonna be, and you you can understand how that's gonna go. I will say to me, AD is almost a must play right now. I think what did he have 50 or 60 last night? I know he had like 27 points. I know he had 3 or 4 blocks, a lot of rebounds.
It was in the 60s. Yeah.
So I mean, he to me, Giannis, bro, Giannis on a mission. Giannis, that first game upset Giannis a lot, apparently, because he has done nothing but murderize. We talk about the rest of the people on the team, but Giannis is taking it upon himself, being at the Orlando Magic, just say, you know what, I'm gonna beat him by myself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat him by myself. So I mean, the people, I mean, like I say, Justin Holiday, Aaron Holiday, they're good value put picks to me. I also like Hero and Duncan Robinson. Their price is elevated a little bit, but they're still very good price for where they're at. So those are people I like. I like a lot. I would say I don't know if James Enos for the Magic. He's been a pretty good value pick. He got ejected last game, but I mean, if he's back playing this next game, I would definitely look at him as a value pick that can get you some good minutes and some good points. And another person that you mentioned, I mean, he's not somebody that's going to give you a bunch, but he can have a game. Is Gary Trent. And also KCP. KCP has played well the last couple of games. If he's shooting the ball well, he can give you 20, 25 fantasy points. Probably not going to happen before his price. 20, he can give you 20. So those are just a couple of picks that I like to throw out.
Okay. I'm not gonna give picks. I'm gonna give more strategy. Because at this point, you have the same people playing the same teams for a series of amount of games. So and then the games are exactly on the same days. So you're pretty much know who's going to play. But the thing is the prices change.
Yeah.
So make sure you pay attention to the prices. And make sure you pay attention to what the players are doing to correlate with their price. So, for example, you got somebody like Mike Conley who's 6,200. Well, he was 5,800 the last game, so he only went up $400, but he put up like, I think 40, close to 40 fantasy points. So he didn't go up enough for you to want to stay off of him. But then you look at somebody like Kyle Lowry, who started off at like the low sevens at 7,200, and now he's ballooned up to 8,300 or 8,200. Well, he was at 72, so you really were looking at least 35 points. Now you're looking at least 40, between 40 and 45 points. If you don't think he's going to get that, or you think that's what he's going to get, you may want to look at playing another position, playing another player at point guard, because while 38 points sounds like, oh, that's not bad, you're paying 8,200 for him. He didn't hit the value that you needed. So that money could be spent somewhere else. So somebody who you think is going to maybe have a ceiling game, or a value player who's going to have a floor game, but that floor game is like 25 to 20 points and you need that. So somebody like Vucevic who was playing lights out, well, his price went up as well to 8,500, I think it was on FanDuel, and he only scored 32 points. So, but somebody like Miles Turner, who was 6,500, scored 38 points. The other part of strategy that I want to talk about is its 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 purpose for games. Look at these teams who are backs against the wall. Yesterday, I was heavy on Pacers. I was heavy on Oklahoma City Thunder players. I was heavy on mostly those two. Why? Because their back is against the wall. They're both down 2-0. I had a lot of Schroeder. I had a lot of Chris Paul. I had a lot of now Oladipo. He did hurt me because I did play him, but my logic was sound. He attacked. He just wasn't hitting no shots.
Right. Right.
His usage was high. He just wasn't hitting no shots.
Yeah, he didn't play
Malcolm
well.
Brogdon was in every one of my lineups, and if you didn't have Malcolm Brogdon, you ain't win no money yesterday.
He
You
killed it.
know, but who did I stay away from? T.J. Warren. Now, T.J. Warren didn't have a bad game statistically, but T.J. Warren is also close to $8,000. So, you look at somebody like Brogdon, who was 72, and then somebody like Warren, who was like 77 or 78. And then also looking at the position where you had where Warren was. So those are things that you just got to pay attention to. Like, if the Brooklyn, like today is Sunday, you won't hear this, but just for an example, I'm playing Brooklyn Nets because they 3-0. Their back is against the wall. They're going to come out like, even though they may still get blown up by the Raptors, they are going to come out ready to play. You
Right.
know, also pay attention to the minutes teams are getting in blowouts. Even though the Raptors have blown out Brooklyn, every one of the starters have gotten 30 plus minutes still. And those games are pretty much out of hand early. Same thing with Milwaukee. The Greek they've blown out Orlando the last two games, but yet Giannis has still hit the 30 minutes mark, and he played pretty much the whole game yesterday against the Magic, and it was a blowout from the very beginning.
Right.
Pay attention to that because these teams they still are building their win because they didn't get full slates of minutes in the bubble, so they have to be ready for when they play teams that's going to take them 6 and 7 games and they're playing 35 to 40 minutes a game. So think about those things when you're making your lineups. It's not all about, oh, they playing this team, they did well last time, let me play against them. No, if those prices go up, Pay attention to how much they go up. Pay attention to the value of other players, and also pay attention to players who have been playing terrible that you know can play better, like Middleton, like Schroeder. Those players are going to have good games. You want to get them when they're playing bad because they're going to be low percentage owned because most people are going to not want to play them because they've been playing bad. So just a little bit of strategy. Hopefully that helps you into picking your lineups to make a little bit of money. You got anything else, cuz?
One more player I wanted to throw out that I forgot to mention that probably is the best player to mention, Goran Dragic. If y'all ain't been watching Goran Dragic and you ain't been playing him in fantasy, I don't know what his price is right now, but if he's still decently priced, you need to have him.
As of yesterday, he was still cheap, 6,200, I think.
You need to have Goran Dragic in your
And he
lineup.
went for 40, 41 points yesterday.
Yeah. So that's
I
one that I
I
forgot to
messed
throw
that
out
one
there.
up. I messed that one up. I didn't play any Goran Dragic. Well, because I say I messed it up. I played Chris Paul and Brogdon in most of my lineups, and they both killed it. But the value that Dragic gave you, he was in the winning lineup because that extra money you saved with going with Dragic, who was 62, compared to Chris Paul, who was 79, you were able to use that money somewhere else. So the winning
Right.
lineup had Dragic in it,
Right.
and of course Brogdon because Brogdon went completely nuts
Yes.
yesterday.
Right.
So that's all we got for y'all, man. This is Hold This L. I'm Capel,
I'm Lonnie.
and that's it. Y'all have a good one.
Peace out.